Hello, thanks for checking out today's video. Just before we get started, we want to tell you about the latest video on our other channel, Paranormally Listed. One video is about children who seemingly remember having lived past lives. Number one is particularly shocking and it may question what you believe. Another video is about werewolf legends. It appears that centuries ago, Europe was plagued by murders supposedly committed by werewolves. Then finally, there's a video about 3 aircrafts that seemingly vanished into thin air. In today's video, we're going to look at 3 murder cases where a hockey stick was used as a murder weapon. If you're interested in learning about another brutal murder involving a hockey stick, you should check out the documentary, The Hockey Stick Killer, which you can find on Magellan TV, who's today's sponsor. I happened to come across The Hockey Stick Killer a week ago on their new releases section, and I thought the documentary was so interesting that I decided to do a video on the same topic. The documentary is about Graham Eady, who beat another man to death with a hockey stick during a road rage incident. One of the most fascinating aspects of the documentary is that it looks at the psychology behind road rage. This was an absolutely fascinating documentary, and it's one I won't easily forget. If you have Magellan TV, you should check it out. If you don't have Magellan TV, I highly recommend getting it, and make sure that The Hockey Stick Killer is one of the first things you watch. From there, check out the rest of Magellan TV's great true crime documentaries. Of course, they have much more than true crime docs. They have over 3,000 documentaries in genres like science, history, and arts and culture. And Magellan TV has a great offer for criminally listed viewers. They are offering our viewers 30 days of free service. To get this amazing offer, just go to try.magellantv.com/criminally-listed. So please check out Magellan TV today because you'll find something great to watch and you'll be supporting Criminally Listed in the process. Number 3. Felipe Lopes. Anastasia Voykina, a 23-year-old Russian national, loves spending time in London, England. Near the end of 2012, Voykina was looking forward to the holiday season. She excitedly posted about spending Christmas with her boyfriend on social media. Her boyfriend was 27-year-old Portuguese national Felipe Lopes. Lopes had recently moved in with Voykina in her southwest London flat. Voykina was aware that Lopes had mental health problems, but being an idealistic person, she thought she could help him. Unfortunately, this arrangement did not last. Lopes's violent tendencies soon erupted. Police were called twice after their neighbors complained about fights in their apartment. One such fight vibrated the whole building. The situation worsened over the next few days. In a fit of rage, Lopes threw their Christmas tree down the stairs. One morning, Lopes woke up Voykina by pouring soda on her face. Later that day, an argument in the apartment started over a Christmas gift. Lopes snapped and attacked Voykina. He brutally sexually assaulted her with an umbrella. Then he struck her in the face with a hockey stick about 60 times. He wrapped pajama bums around her neck and dragged her into the bathtub. Then he fled the scene immediately afterward. Anastasia Voykina clung to life for about an hour, then she died from the injuries in a pool of her own blood. Several days later, in Russia, Voykina's parents were worried about her. They hadn't heard from her in several days. The last time they spoke to her was on December 30th, 2012. Desperate for help, her brother posted an urgent message on social media. He pleaded with people to give him information on his sister's whereabouts. Voykina's parents also alerted the police. Days later, on January 8th, 2013, the police entered her apartment and they found her lifeless body. A post-mortem indicated she had died from multiple fractures to the head, neck, and face. The police released CCTV still images of Lopes as he left the apartment. The next day, the police arrested him in Farnborough, an area of Bromley, on suspicion of murder. He was charged with murder 2 days later. Since Lopes had a history of mental illness, he was given a psychological examination. He was diagnosed with schizoid affective disorder. It was also made public that he had a shocking history of violence against women. The first report of him attacking another girlfriend went back to 2006, but nothing legally happened to Lopes. A few years later, in 2008, he broke into the same girlfriend's home and threatened her with a knife. Because he was mentally unwell, he was given a community order. This court order kept him out of prison. But Lopes continued to stalk his girlfriend for another 3 years. He even told his probation officers he was going to kill her. Lopes attempted to follow through with this threat. He attacked her again, this time while she was in bed. He bit her chest, punched her face, and kicked her. Then he violently whipped her with a belt. For this crime, he was given a suspended sentence. Lopes finally decided to move on, and he started a relationship with another woman. Unfortunately, his violent streak persisted. He stabbed his new girlfriend, who survived her wounds. Shockingly, for the stabbing, he only served 12 weeks in prison, and the rest of his sentence was suspended. After leaving prison, Lopes had to check in with the mental health team daily. This was around the same time that he moved in with Anastasia Vokina, and about the same time he stopped taking his medication. It's also believed that he was smoking too much cannabis, which exacerbated his mental health issues. The mental health team that was required to check in on him had gone on Christmas break. It was during this time that Lopes killed Vokina. Upon their return to work, the health team noticed he was missing. They alerted the police. Lopes was arrested soon afterward. In custody, Lopes admitted to killing Vokina. He accepted a plea deal where he pleaded guilty to manslaughter. The judge ordered Lopes to serve the minimum term, 7 years and 3 months. The judge also made a hospital limitation order under Section 45A of the Mental Health Act. This means that Lopes will be detained at a secure hospital for treatment before being transferred to a prison to serve the remainder of his sentence. Number 2. Oral David Bryan. Nicola Mackenzie was a dedicated mother to her 12 and 8-year-old children. One friend said her children were her life. On September 17, 2015, Mackenzie drove past her ex-partner's house in the Moss Side area of Manchester, England. Her ex-partner and the father of her 2 children was 44-year-old Oral Bryan. He was with another woman with whom he had 3 children. It is believed that Bryan has 11 kids with 9 different women. On this day, Nicola noticed a car in front of Bryan's home. She suspected that the car belonged to Bryan's current girlfriend. With her children in tow, Nicola got out to confront the woman. A heated argument began between the 2 mothers. Bryan was called over to intervene. He came to the scene with a hockey stick. With an axe-like motion, he clubbed Nicola over the head with the stick. She was immediately knocked unconscious. She also hit her head on the pavement when she landed. As Nicola lay on the ground bleeding from her head, Bryan panicked. He got some water, hoping to revive her. He even picked her up. But once he realized how badly she was injured, he dropped her again. Then he fled the scene. Nicola's children, along with the children that belonged to the other woman, had witnessed the entire assault. Bryan immediately regretted his actions. He had no intentions of evading the police. A few hours later, he called the police from his cell phone at a library, telling them where he was. "I didn't mean to hurt her," he told the police upon his arrest. After he was arrested, Bryan said that Nicola had attacked him with a knife. However, no witnesses saw a knife, nor was one collected from the scene. Meanwhile, Nicola Mackenzie was rushed to the hospital's intensive care unit. She had massive skull trauma and brain injuries. Her family stayed by her bedside for 2 days. But tragically, she never regained consciousness. Her mother and father were there when the life support machine was turned off. In March 2015, Earl Bryan was convicted of murdering Nicola Mackenzie. He was given a life sentence with a minimum of 20 years of prison. Since there was no premeditation, the defense team argued that the sentence was too harsh. But the judges rejected this. The judges felt that since he committed such a heinous crime in front of children, the sentence wasn't excessive. So the sentence stood. Number 1, Thomassie Koneak, Bobby Snowball Jr., and Joey Partridge. Claude Brigette had lived in Koneak, a small northern Quebec village, for almost 15 years. Koneak is a former Hudson Bay trading post. It has a population of just over 2,000 people. The 50-year-old father of 2 worked as a senior accounting clerk for the Koneak regional government. On the night of February 2, 2005, 24-year-old Thomassie Koneak, 22-year-old Bobby Snowball Jr., and 19-year-old Joey Partridge barged into Brigette's house. The 3 young men did not know Brigette. They had been drinking most of the day. They broke into Brigette's home looking for more alcohol. Koneak scoured the house for alcohol. 2 of the men, Snowball and Partridge, attacked Brigette. Snowball and Partridge viciously beat Brigette, stomping and kicking him. Many blows landed on his head, face, and body. Taking things too far, the men thrust a hockey stick into Brigette's anus multiple times. The men fled the scene, leaving Brigette for dead. He eventually died of head injuries. After a short investigation, the police arrested Koneak, Snowball, and Partridge. All 3 men were charged with first-degree murder, forcible confinement, aggravated sexual assault causing injury, and theft. Snowball and Partridge were initially going to take a plea deal, but then they rejected that in favor of a jury trial. As for Koneak, a deal was reached between the defense and the prosecution. He pleaded guilty to a lesser sentence of manslaughter. He was sentenced to 7 years in prison for his role in the crime. After that, Snowball and Partridge reconsidered and made deals with the prosecution. They both pleaded guilty to second-degree murder. The defense argued that they were guilty of second-degree murder because they didn't plan on killing Brigette beforehand. They simply wanted the alcohol. For his role in the crime, Snowball received a life sentence without the possibility of parole for 15 years. His sentence was longer because he had a greater role in the beating. In the courtroom, Snowball showed no remorse. He only told the court, no regrets, nothing. The third man, Joey Partridge, was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 12 years. Unlike his accomplices, Partridge regretted his role in the crime. He expressed remorse to Brigette's family during the trial. Then in 2010, the Quebec Appeals Court allowed Partridge to withdraw his guilty plea. When Partridge took the prosecution's deal, he knew he was pleading guilty, but he didn't know exactly what he was pleading guilty to. For murder convictions, there must be proof of intent to kill. Partridge's legal team successfully argued that there was no intent in the case. They argued that while the men were intoxicated at the time, they did not go into his home with the intention of murder. Partridge was awarded another trial. However, the outcome of that trial could not be found. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Please don't forget to check out our new channel, Paranormally Listed. There's a link on the screen now, and there's a link in the description box below this video. Well, that's all for today. Thanks again for watching.